There's a bunch of mint in your kitchen right now that's slowly going to waste. Half of it wilted in the fridge, the rest you'll throw out by the weekend. And here's the strange part. That limp little bunch is one of the toughest, hardest to kill plants you can grow. Drop a single stem into a glass of water, and within a week, it can grow roots for free and ready to do it all over again. So why do most of us buy mint again and again and again, and then watch every pot we bring home slowly die on the windowsill? This isn't a story about a houseplant. It's about a piece of knowledge that almost everyone's grandmother had, and almost none of their grandchildren do. Tonight, we reopen a quiet little file. Not a lost cure, not a miracle. Something humbler and somehow sadder. A skill that never stopped working. We just stopped passing it down. Mint has grown beside human kitchens for thousands of years. The Greeks and Romans scattered it across their floors and tables. It runs through Middle Eastern gardens, through the tea glasses of North Africa, through the herb bowls of Vietnam and the kitchens of Latin America. And in almost none of those places did anyone buy mint. You got a sprig from a neighbor, you rooted it in a cup by the sink, and it never left the family again. Listen to old gardeners and you'll hear the same instruction in a dozen languages. Don't buy it. Ask someone who already has it. That one sentence is the whole secret. Mint barely bothers with seeds, and it doesn't need to. It clones itself. A cutting isn't a fragile gamble. It's how this plant has always traveled. Across oceans, in the pockets of immigrants, wrapped in a damp cloth. From one windowsill jar to the next, our great-grandparents treated a plant like a library book. You borrowed a piece, you grew your own copy, and you lent a piece to the next person. Nothing was thrown away. Nothing was bought twice. Then, somewhere in the last 2 generations, that chain went quiet. So let's rebuild it, starting with a technique that looks like poverty and is actually genius. You take a plastic bottle headed for the bin, a 2-liter bottle, the kind you already have. You cut away the bottom, because the base of a store-bought bunch is usually where rot and fungus are hiding, and you do not want to plant disease. You keep only the strongest stems. Then you turn that bottle into a hanging garden. A few holes in the base for drainage. A ring of small holes around the sides, one for each cutting. You fill it with ordinary soil, and you mix in something our grandparents swore by. A handful of clean charcoal. That charcoal isn't decoration. Old gardeners used it for the same reason modern growers rediscovered biochar. It keeps the soil open and draining. It helps resist the fungus that rots young cuttings. And gardeners have long believed it feeds a little mineral content back into the soil over time. Centuries-old potting wisdom, hiding inside a recycled bottle. You slide each cutting through a side hole. You hang it where the light is good. You water it deeply, once, and then you mostly leave it alone. Now, if you've tried something like this and failed, and thousands of people say they have, I want to be honest with you, because the videos that skip this part are exactly why you gave up. Mint doesn't die on you because you have a black thumb. It dies for a few specific, fixable reasons. 1. You left the rotting base on, and the fungus spread before a single root could form. 2. You drowned it. A cutting wants moist soil, not a swamp. No drainage hole means a slow, quiet rot right at the stem. 3. The leaves sat against wet soil or standing water, and powdery mildew, that gray dust, crept in. Keeping the foliage up and dry is half the reason the hanging bottle works at all. 4. The cutting was too young and soft, or too old and woody. The piece that roots best is the one in between, firm, green, and not flowering. And 5. No light. A cutting in a dark corner doesn't root. It waits, and then it quits. None of that is bad luck. It's just the part nobody bothered to tell you. Be honest for a second. How many of those 5 just described your last attempt? Tell me in the comments. I read them. Which brings us to the real question of this archive. If mint is this easy, if one free sprig can feed a kitchen for years, why did so many of us forget how? The answer isn't a villain, it's a habit we were gently sold. Somewhere along the way, the plant stopped being something you propagate and became something you purchase. A pot wrapped in plastic with a barcode, bred to look perfect on a shelf and to fade about 3 weeks after you get it home. Buy, fail, blame yourself, buy again. It's a small, comfortable cycle, and it depends entirely on you not realizing how simple the old way was. The technique was never disproven. It was just delisted. It fell out of the conversation the way 1,000 small household skills do when there's no shelf to sell them on. But the plant never read that memo. It's still exactly what it always was, a weed that wants to live, practically begging to be copied. So here's how to actually keep it going, with the details people always ask for. Give it bright, indirect light. A few hours of gentle sun is perfect. It will tolerate part shade, but a truly dark spot won't work. Keep the soil like a wrung-out sponge. Water when the top feels dry, not on a fixed schedule. In warm weather, that might be every couple of days. In cool weather, far less. Expect roots in about 3 to 4 weeks. Not overnight, and not from every stem, so plant a few more cuttings than you think you'll need. And to be honest about what this can't do, it won't revive a stem that's already gone brown and slimy, and it won't grow mint in a dark cupboard. Start with a firm, healthy cutting and real light. Without those two, the rest won't save it. And harvest the right way. Pinch from the top, just above a pair of leaves. Don't strip it bare. Every time you pinch the tip, the plant branches and grows bushier, so the more you use it, the more you get. A few honest cautions. Even clean, sheltered leaves should still get a quick rinse before they go into your tea or your salad. Dust and tiny insects don't care how nice the bottle looks. Use real, clean charcoal, never briquettes soaked in lighter fluid. If you're heating a tool to make those holes, do it in a ventilated space and mind your hands, or simply use a drill. And know what you're signing up for. Mint is gloriously invasive. Given soil and water, it will try to take over. In a hanging bottle, that ambition is finally working for you instead of against you. So the file closes the way it opened, with 2 things side by side. On one side, a half-wilted bunch you were about to throw away. On the other, a wall of green you may never need to buy again. The lesson here is small, and it's older than any of us. The plant that refuses to die was never the problem. The knowledge, that's what we almost let die instead. So, tell me in the comments, which herb always seems to die on you? Mint, basil, cilantro, rosemary? Name it, and we'll reopen that file next. And if there's someone in your life who keeps buying the same little plant and losing it, send them this. Pass the cutting along. The archive stays open as long as someone keeps reading. Subscribe, and we'll open the next one together.